Hello everyone, this is lecture 4 and hopefully the final lecture in the residual earnings series. Now you will remember from lecture 3 where we're working on a seminar question and we've completed part A of the question and we're now on to part B. So we are told assume the growth rate in residual earnings is 5% after 2019, calculate the per share value of the equity from this pro forma. Now, what's the deal here? We want to, first of all, calculate the residual earnings, which we have done in the previous part. But then, remember, these are happening in the future. So we need to discount them to their present value today. You will recall, I think it was lecture 1, that we are standing at 2016. So 2016 being our year 0. Now, what needs to happen? We need to discount all the residual earnings for the different years. So first of all, let's start with uh, 2017. That will be your year 1. So equals, so residual earnings is 50 divided by 1.1. That gives us 45.45. Yep, let's do the same thing for 2018. Now the residual earnings for 2018 is 80. So if we're discounting 80 divided by, well, 1.1 to the power of 2. Because remember, in our example, 2018 is your year 2. And that gives us 66.12. Moving on, 2019, which is our year 3, residual earnings is 64. So 64 equals 64 divided by, well, 1.1. 1.1. Remember, 10% is our required rate of return, so 1.1 to the power of 3. And that gives us 48.08. Now, what's going to happen as from year 2019 onwards? We're told, well, as from 2019, the residual earnings is expected to grow at 5%, so until perpetuity. If that's the case, then the residual earnings, I've added 1 year here for 2020. So that would be, well, equal your residual earnings in 2019 multiplied by 1 point, sorry, 1.05. So as from 2020, the residual earnings would be 67.2 and then growing thereafter until perpetuity. So you will recall that if we are to calculate the present value for residual earnings, well, 67.2, that happens in 2020, it will only give you a figure, the present value, it will only give you the present value 1 year before. That is in year 3. And this is a perpetuity with growth formula. Now let's go and calculate what is the present value taking on board the perpetuity with growth formula. So it will be, well, the earnings, so in this case 67.2 divided by R minus G. So R here is 0.1, G is the growth rate, 0.05. Yes, and we're left with a figure of 1,344. The problem is this, or the deal is this, it's not really a problem. It gives us the present value a year before, and it gives us the present value as at year 3. But remember, we are not standing at any point in time into the future. We're always standing in the present, and in the present for our question is 2016, which is our year 0. So what needs to happen? How do we go from year 3 to year 0? Well, it's just a simple idea. We need to discount this amount. So we need to discount this amount here for 3 years. So how do we discount for 3 years? We divide by So whatever we have, divide by 1.1 to the power of 3, and this gives us 1010. Now let's add all the figures together. So what is the present value? So remember, the aim was to discount everything to their present value at year 0, which we've done. So the total present value goes, well, it's the sum of this figure plus this one, and finally this one here. So present value of residual earnings, 1169. Now you will recall from lecture 1 or lecture 2 that the value of the business is your book value plus the present value of residual earnings. So, and since we're standing at 2016, let me take you back to the book value. Well, the book value of equity is 5,000. So the value of the business is equal 5,000 plus present value of residual earnings, so 6169. Now this will give you, so this is the value of the business for the entire share, for the entire shareholders, for entire shares if you want. But we are told in this question here we want the value per share, and all we have to do is, well, we're told there is 1,200 uh, of shares in this business. So if we want the value per share, all we need to do is take this figure and divide it by 1,000, sorry, 1,200. Yes, and that will give you 5.14. That will be the value for one share. There you go. So that is part B of the question.